This episode is sponsored by Matt Herbert. Hello and welcome back to Film Pro Productivity and Success, the podcast that helps film professionals and other creative people to live a more focused, effective and happy life. My name is Carter Ferguson and this is episode 116. 3 more toxic archetypes. Don't ask why people keep hurting you. Ask yourself why you are allowing it to happen. Robert Chu, unquote. In last week's show, I looked at how taking breaks and holidays can improve your productivity, your creativity, and your health. So if you missed that one, do go and check it out. But this week, I'm revisiting a topic that I first tackled in episode 24 and revisited again quite recently in episode 111. And there's a plethora of toxic archetypes out there that I have not yet covered, from chronic liars who lie to you about others and lie to others about you and lie to everyone about themselves. There are naysayers who are always negative and pessimistic. There's slackers who avoid real work and will demotivate you no matter what you do. And there's envious people who measure the success only against others and are never happy for their own accomplishments. There's the needy who will only come to you when they want something from you, and the bully who tries to intimidate you to do what they want. Or there's also the unreliable. Does that need an explanation? The temperamental, the coward, the touchy, the narcissist, the sociopath, the hater, and there's the cynic. There's loads of them. The list goes on and on. But today I'm tackling drama magnets, critics, and pretenders. I was going to do just social media pretenders, but I think the pretender or the faker works generally and can include that one. And this episode is just issued in warning, because when you've got any of these types of people in your life, they will impact heavily upon your productivity and your happiness. Just because people are fueled by drama doesn't mean you have to attend the performance. Cheryl Richardson, unquote. So let's kick things off with the drama magnet. And with them, something is always wrong, always. And of course, once a problem is solved, another one appears on the horizon. And they thrive in a crisis because it makes them feel important. And like the energy vampire that I discussed in episode 111, they want something from you. They feed on your empathy, your sympathy, and your support. And if you offer help and solutions, they never really seem to take it, or they'll draw it out of you at a price, a kind of vampirical sucking of your energy and your drive, your finances, your time and your focus. And these ambulance-chasing drama magnets will drag you into their problems, mess with your head and steal away your time and energy. And they aren't to be confused with drama queens, by the way. Drama queens are similar and equally draining, but they don't just seek out drama, they create drama. You've probably recognise a few of them. And if you can think of a drama magnet, though, in your life, it is time to start taking steps to escape from them. And that's the general note on any toxic people. You need to get them out of your life. And once they're out of your life, believe you me, life gets a lot better. And second on today's list is the critic. Have you ever felt judged and criticised by someone, and that no matter what you do, it'll never be enough? Well, negative criticism is different from advice, and that's got to be recognised here. And negative criticism is what I'm talking about with the critic. These people might never overtly attack you, but they will insult your beliefs, your appearance, your thoughts. They'll undermine your confidence generally, and they'll take away your drive, often because they themselves have low self-esteem. And they might even manifest themselves as a control freak or something like that as well, which is another toxic archetype. Some of these archetypes don't stand as individual things. Very, very often you'll find that you'll get a mix of them in one individual. But I'm going off track already. Basically, it's bad enough to deal with your own inner critic. I think that's some like episode, 4. The inner critic, that voice in your head that's telling you you're not good enough. It's bad enough with that. But when you've got an actual critic in the room, it makes being productive in your life and work significantly more difficult. And critics will often talk down to you, not from any real experience that they have, but from their own kind of skewed opinions of how things should be done and how the world they believe works. And as creatives, the last thing we need is someone negatively criticizing our work or our ethics or our abilities who hasn't been asked for their opinion and who can't balance that criticism with goodwill and positivity. And this comes up, occasionally I'll take a script along to be read at something called Scottish Screenwriters. I'll put a link in the show notes if I remember. And the way that works is you get your script table read, or you get an element of your script table read. It's got to be a kind of extract usually, unless it's very, very short script. And they say to everyone that they must give positive feedback or at least constructive feedback and avoid negative feedback. It is very, very destructive having that sort of thing, because there is a difference between constructive feedback and negative feedback, if you hear what I'm saying. Anyway, the final archetype on today's list is a substratum of the liar archetype, known as the pretender or the fake. And it's fair to say, I think, that what we show of ourselves on social media in our promotional materials, etc., is usually the highlight reel of our life and our work. And we post the images of ourselves, of course, where we look good and where we are achieving positive things, and we generally don't share the pictures of ourselves that we dislike for whatever reason. It could be just because you think you look ugly in them or whatever, or somebody's caught you at a bad moment. There's a terrible photograph that was taken of me when I was in a film set, or a low budget film, and I sat down to talk to someone. I think she was in a wheelchair, and I sat on a couch, and my knees are up. My bum's down in this couch, sunk back in. My knees are up, and I'm looking to the side, talking to this person, and I look absolutely ridiculous. And yeah, I'd like to make that one disappear, but I didn't put that one up. If I'm putting a picture of myself up, which I don't do very often, I don't like doing it, I make sure I look, I think, presentable, at least, in it. Anyway, I've gone off on a big one there. So, yeah, putting a positive kind of front out there and putting good pictures of yourself and that highlight reel of yourself out there is perfectly natural and understandable, and it's fine, of course, but there are people out there who will take fake it till you make it to such a level that it beggars belief, and these fantasists is what I call them. I know 3 fantasists in the Glasgow kind of filmmaking area. Some of you out there might know who they are. Let's see. Answers in a postcard. But there's some people out there that I refer to as fantasists because they begin to believe their own hype, and they're fooling not only themselves but those they pull into their circle of influence. And if you fall for their false reality, you will find yourself wasting time and energy on people who will build up their own reputations on your back and not only give you nothing in return, but will damage your own reputation at the same time. Because you see, while many will fall for the ridiculous fantasies, often because they've spent a lot of time and energy on building them, I should say, then there are others who perhaps know of their reputation already, who might scratch and sniff at the stories and recognise just how big a liar they really are. And being associated with one of these liars, these fakers, getting pulled into that circle of influence and kind of working on something with them will impact your own reputation in a very negative way. I mean, they'll tell you any lie they need to. They'll fabricate any evidence that will support their claim, and I commonly see fake IMDb entries, for example, or posts about projects that either were never shot or were created in the thinnest possible manner by the faker. You know, like they'll say, I've got a podcast, but it turns out they've only ever done the smallest little part of a podcast. They talk about their podcast as if it's something they do all the time. You actually look at it, they've done one episode. Very common thing, and I've seen that more than once. And another thing they'll do is they'll just exaggerate any truth that they actually have in order to get what they want. They'll take a kind of part truth and they'll extend it. Say it was like they were involved with BAFTA at one point. They'll word that in a way that makes it seem that they're part of BAFTA. I mean, I won the Cineworld, or my film won the Cineworld Audience Award presented by BAFTA Scotland. We refer to it as the BAFTA Light because it's not really a BAFTA. It's kind of a nearly BAFTA, in my opinion. And I don't like presenting myself in a fake way, but I could definitely say, you know, that BAFTA gave us an award because that's definitely the way it worked out. I'm a little bit careful about it. Maybe, just as I say this out loud, maybe I should make more of that one. But I don't like to. What can I say? So yeah, these people will exaggerate any truth that they've got, any small truth, just to get what they want amongst all these other things. And I know more than one person who claims that they've worked on stunts and productions, incidentally, on which I've been connected. And I can tell you here and now that they were not connected. One guy who was on a stunt coordinator on River City, I went in and spoke to them, and he'd never heard of him, never at all. This was in the early days, so it was maybe after the show had been running for 4 years, and the people that were in the office at that time knew everything. I had been working on it by 2 years. I came into that show 2 years after it launched, and I'm kind of still involved in it now. So I knew he hadn't been there afterwards, because I would have known, and they knew he hadn't been there before it. But he'd put himself on IMDb to say he had, but he was booted immediately. Anyway, just another faker. But they often count on their lies being very difficult to verify, because what they say they did was maybe a long time ago is another thing, or was something they did which is just impossible to find, like a short film, whatever, years ago. These people are looking to be believed for a couple of reasons that I find. And one is to get an investment of money, time, energy, skills, or equipment out of someone, anyone. It could be an investor, a business person that they're trying to pull into their circle. It could be a young person who's interested in film, they're trying to pull into their projects. It could be just somebody who's got a car, or somebody who's got, commonly, more than once, I've had people try to borrow firearms from borrow or get firearms for free from an armourer that I'm associated with by using my name. And I've caught people out at least twice, possibly more, trying to do that, because they're trying to buy association with me, pretend they know me to get something out of someone. Anyway, that's the kind of first thing, the kind of key thing. And the other reason that they do this, I think, is much simpler, and it's just to get attention, because they're feeling a bit down or neglected. And the fantasies that they weave, although they will pull some people in, they must be quite lonely places to maintain for these people. They're stuck pretending they're big and successful. The reality is they're probably just sitting in the house, and occasionally they'll appear on social media and say how I'm wonderful, give me attention. But because they don't use social media all the time, they won't really get very much attention. But they're out there, and really, I think that's the second thing, is they just want to be famous or get a bit of attention. But as with any toxic personality, the best way to deal with these pretenders is to cut them out of your life. Use your high-level thinking and never take what people say at face value. It's very, very easy to verify these lies if you start to scratch at them. I see some of these fakers move on from trying to get attention in the kind of film world, and then they kind of rework their lies and start pretending in the commercial world that they are important, and they try to get gigs. And what you'll find is that proper companies will see through them quite quickly, because they really won't have a standard of work. They might have some work they've produced over the years, but it's usually very, very low standard. And what I do notice, though, is that they can start to get money from government organisations and councils who really don't do that scratch and sniff of, is this person any good? And they start to fall for the lies that they're told by these people, because some of these people that I know are telling whopping great lies about who they know and how influential they are. And some people do fall for it. But as I say, get your high-level thinking cap on, and that'll allow you to spot them, and just don't take what people say at face value. Use that scratch and sniff if somebody's trying to tell you something you think might be too good to be true. These fakers and liars, once they're in your life, once you've started interacting with them, are very difficult to get rid of. So dodge them before they get their claws into you. And once you've got rid of a toxic personality from your life, no matter what pot shots they're going to take at you as they go, some of them will not go quietly. Once you get rid of them, that'll lift your spirits, and it'll grant you a freedom in your heart and your soul that will be more valuable than whatever that you perceive to have lost in your interaction with this person. And as I say, every time I talk about this topic, I know it's not always possible to walk away from family members, but you can at least hold them at arm's length and not get involved in their toxicity and the damage that'll do to you just by limiting contact. Toxic people are one of life's great challenges, and interacting with them will leave you emotionally wiped out and feeling frustrated, unfulfilled, and probably angry too. So Don't allow yourself to become worn down as a result of giving and giving and getting nothing in return. Today we've covered the drama magnet, the critic, and the pretender or the fake. And these are just 3 of the toxic archetypes that you should be looking out for. And if you like these sort of episodes, I should say, while I'm here, please do let me know and I'll do some more of them. As you know, there's plenty more archetypes for me to delve into. But thanks once again for giving me your valuable time and attention today. I really do appreciate it. This has turned in again to a slightly longer episode than I had anticipated, but I think there is some value in it. And today's call to action is just to identify any of these toxic archetypes, the drama magnet, the critic, or the fake, the pretender, that might be in your life, and get rid of them. Just get rid of them. It might take you a few days or weeks, but removing them from your life will also improve it. So remember that, you just disassociate yourself from these people and you will have a better and a more productive life. In next week's show, I'll be having a quick look at rediscovering passion. So if you've lost your way and you don't know how to find it again, please tune in for that one. And I hope to see you there on the next show, so please do join me there. But in the meantime, I'm going to end with some words from Simon Blackburn, who said, "The fantasist in whom the reality barrier has broken down is unreliable, believing things when he should not, and telling things as true when they are not." Now take control of your own destiny, keep on shooting, dodge those dodgy fantasists, and join me next time on Film Pro Productivity and Success. The executive producer on this season is Christopher McPhillips, and the music that you're listening to right now is Adventures by Himitsu. You can view this... oh, wait a minute, that's wrong. You can follow this show... I have done this before. You can follow the show on Twitter at FilmProProdPod or on Facebook at FilmProProductivity, and there's a full transcript of the show on the official website FilmProProductivity.com. Please continue to support the show by subscribing, spreading the word, and leaving an awesome review. See you next time.